Hi guys, and welcome to my look at the Neca Cult Classics Series 3 figures. As always, comes as a selection of 4 figures from, in this case, some quite diverse genres, to be honest. I believe these were 2006 off the top of my head. Bear me a second. I don't know why I do this, I keep guessing and then having to look while I'm on camera. Yeah, 2006. Right, so in this range we have a T800 Endoskeleton, Flyboy Zombie, John McClane from obviously Die Hard, and Bubber Hotep. Let's just get, let's go for John first. We'll have a look at him first. He's probably one of the easiest, well actually I say one of the easiest of this series to get hold of. This series is quite hard to get hold of, all of them, to be honest. For some reason wasn't a lot of series 3. Anyway, on the back of this one with John McClane from Die Hard is New York City detective John McClane arrives in Los Angeles to reunite with his family for Christmas. McClane finds himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. His wife's office building is taken hostage by the ruthless group of terrorists. Armed with his service revolver and his street smarts, John McClane wages a one-man war against the terrorists. And of course on the back there you can see Flyboy Zombie from Dawn of the Dead, another picture of John McClane from Die Hard, Bubber Hotep, and the T800 from T2. And of course on the front we've got the movie poster, 40 Stories of Sheer Adventure, and it says John McClane, features MP5 submachine gun and rooftop base. Not a too fantastic sculpt, I don't think, to be honest, of Bruce Willis. I think if you stick any guy with receding hairline you can pretty much get away with it, but you know, I've got to be honest with you, it's not the best sculpt, and I find it a little bit funny to be in the cult classic range when you've got your zombies and then you've got John McClane there. But I know they're trying to get a bit diverse and get figures out there for different people, and not everyone likes the same thing, but I just thought this was a little bit weird, to be honest. And like I say in most of my videos, I virtually had every single one of these figures out of packet, and I literally now have re-brought them again in packet and sold the out of packet ones, to be honest. But when I had them out on display, it sat nicely. Obviously the rooftop base was easy enough to put together, and the revolver or submachine gun sat nicely in his hand, and the base has got loads of little bullets all over it as well, which I liked. But yeah, not a bad figure, to be honest. Just literally got shoulder articulation and foot articulation in this. I don't think there was waist articulation off the top of my head. Anyway, yep, so that's Bruce Willis, obviously John McClane, Die Hard. Next is Bubber Hotep. Now in terms of articulation, that was just head, arm, and that was it, to be honest, I believe. And he comes with a little base, a little desert base. Sorry, it says, oh sorry, it should read on the bottom, it says features swamp base, connects with Sebastian half base in series 4. And obviously you've got the movie poster on there as well, and for me this is a fantastic sculpt, to be honest. I absolutely love this figure in terms of its sculpt. Wasn't a fan of the film though, to be honest, much to the annoyance of my friend who really rates it. Didn't really think, I mean, I got to be honest with you, I only watched the film when I got the figures, and I didn't really think it was brilliant, to be honest, but obviously everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And on the back it says Bubber Hotep is 3,000-year-old Egyptian mummy with a penchant for cowboy boots, bathroom graffiti and sucking the souls from the barely living. Bubber preys on the helpless senior citizens in the shady rest retirement home until an unlikely pair of geriatric heroes make one last stand against evil. And obviously quite a good picture of obviously Bubber Hotep on the back there. So that's that one. Next we'll look at Endoskeleton. Oh, sorry, I should say the Bubber Hotep. You can get hold of him. He was very hard to get hold of at some point, but then suddenly he just flooded eBay quite cheaply, to be honest. Now this guy is quite hard to get hold of, and sorry, I say this guy. I'm talking about now about the Endoskeleton. Like I say, he's quite hard to get hold of, and is absolutely fantastic. This has got to be the flagship figure of this series. Again, I've had this out of packet. He's got a little skull base in the back there. I don't know if you can see, or as they call it on the packaging, a future war base. Absolutely fantastically detailed skulls. There's a little tricycle squashed down in there, and the figure has posability that you can stand him, obviously, so he's stepping up onto the skulls. The plasma rifle is of perfect scale in terms of the gun that they brought out with the other more recent Terminator figures. Sorry, I'm just quickly grabbing one here, and obviously a lot better detail than the new Neca ones, and of course at the time, or sorry, near the time, McClane obviously had their T800 out, and that had a little piddly gun that come with it, and you've got an alternative hand as well to put on him when he holds the gun. But fantastic points of articulation, obviously being in the shoulder, the waist, the hips, the knees, the feet and the elbows, and the pistons, obviously, or you can see all the rods going into the pistons on it as well. So for me, if you're going to buy one figure from this series, I cannot praise the Terminator 2 Endoskeleton enough, to be honest. Absolutely love it. And on the back, it's basically, I won't read all this, but well, actually I will. It's target identified, specs, Endoskeleton model T800, features Skynet's most advanced control system, fully armoured in hyper-alloy sheath around vital areas. Frictionless bearings in its joints allow the unit to manoeuvre through its range of motions faster than previous models. In the event of critical damage, a secondary power source allows the unit a margin of time to complete its mission. When set to autonomous mode, it can learn like a human being and actually become more efficient as time goes on. 20% lighter and 40% more powerful than the T600 model. So yeah, absolutely fantastic, and I've got to be honest with you, I will do a comparison of the T800s, McClane and Neca, and obviously this guy will have a bit of a more in-depth look at it as well, and also the mouth opens and shuts as well. So brilliant, absolutely fantastic, love that figure, to be honest. And lastly is Flyboy Zombie. Now this for me was the hardest figure out of all the cult classic figures, ranging from Series 1 to Series 7, for me to get hold of. Well, I say the hardest, the most expensive, in terms of I just could not get him for what would be considered a sensible price. You will pay silly amounts of money for this guy, and obviously features the Flyboy Zombie from the Dawn of the Dead, and when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. And he comes with revolver and a shot and nail base, and there's a dead guy with all his guts hanging out, and some perfume bottles on the floor, and I don't know if you can see the base all in there. But comes a brilliant little base there, and I like this figure, to be honest. Love the film. I don't know whether to say it or not, but I absolutely love the remake as well, to be honest. In terms of, do I like the remake more than the original? I want to say no, but I do love the remake, to be honest. And obviously this is the guy that flies the helicopter in the film. Is it Peter or someone? I can't remember his name. Anyway, on the back it says here, after fortifying a Pittsburgh Mall and suffering the loss of Roger, Stephen, Fran and Peter have been discovered by a street gang. Breaking through their barricades, the gang loots the stores and the group relies upon. Enraged, Stephen opens fire on the gang but reveals himself in the process. In a desperate attempt to escape, he is overwhelmed by a mob of the Walking Dead and becomes trapped in an elevator that becomes his death chamber. Stephen's neck is ripped open as the zombies tear into his body, devouring chunks of flesh from every limb. He has become the most dangerous of the zombies, for even in death he remembers the group's hiding place. Driven by his unnatural hunger, Flyboy Zombie is destroyed by Peter after leading the rest of the Walking Dead to their hideout. Yes, sorry, it wasn't Peter, this was obviously Stephen. And obviously comes in what I like is it really stands out, the yellow base as well. Just having a little look, you can see the chunk out of his, I don't know if you can actually see the chunk out of his neck as well. And there, where obviously it describes that he was bitten in. But yeah, so that's series 3. I do love this series, to be honest. Out of the 4, I'm probably going to say Bubber Hotep is my least favourite, but the Die Hard one is the Bruce Willis one is the disappointing one, and my favourite has to be the T800, and the hardest to get hold of was this guy. Absolutely nightmare, to be honest. And you will look, if you can get him at a cheap price, just get him, because honestly he goes for silly money for some reason. Okay guys, thanks ever so much, take care, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye.